Hey friends, welcome to Chai and Coaching. Rob here. Welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about homesickness, depression, culture shock, and give you guys advice and tips on how to deal with this. We've already done a part 1 video explaining what these things are, the realities and the struggles that students face. This is part 2 about how to overcome things, and so be sure to check it out.
And even though you go up and down and bounce, there's actually possibility for another dip, and this final dip is called re-entry culture shock. Or whenever you go back home, you can home country culture shock. Sujay, did you ever experience that? You know, in your 2 trips back to India, did you experience culture shock going back, having spent time in America?
Obviously, I started hating the traffic. And yeah, sometimes the food got really spicy there in India, which because you're here and food is not as spicy, but yeah, you get used to it and you kind of like think about it, but it doesn't affect you as much.
And I remember that after spending time, you know, abroad in Asia, other places, and then coming back to America, I realized there's things that frustrated me about America, my home country. The selfishness, you know, how we're too independent, how we don't take care of each other. We don't really respect our families and parents as much as Eastern cultures do. We're super materialistic and we spend money on a ton of stuff we don't need. We're so wasteful with our stuff when there's places that have people with tons of need. And all this stuff really frustrated me, and I would have reverse culture shock. I had to learn that, okay, America's not totally bad, India's not totally bad, wherever I'm at, but every place has a place to improve, and I can make myself better, and wherever I'm at, I can work to make that place better too. And that's a healthy mentality you can begin to approach. So there's kind of 3 outcomes for people that spend significant time as an expat in a new place, in a new culture. So the first one is cultural rejection, and that's where you go to a place and you just don't want anything to do with it. You're gonna study, you're gonna work, but you want nothing to do with that culture, that place, and you cling on to everything in your home country. And you're there to do what you need to do, but you want to get out and you don't like any of it. So that's just cultural rejection, you know, 100% nothing about the new place. The other is cultural assimilation or total acceptance, where you become everything. You know, it's like someone coming from India and they just take 100% and dive into the American dream, and they just cut off India and they just want, you know, the H-1B and the green card and they want the American life and they forget India. And some people will do that in all over the world, where it's just 100% the new place. But a lot of people, they call it, you know, culturally cosmopolitan or culturally blended, or kind of critical, you know, enculturation, where it's a balance, where you kind of maintain the good things from your home culture and life, you adapt new good things from a new place and culture, and you almost kind of become a third culture person, or blended. You can move back and forth between both those places, and you know, taking advantage of all the good things in both those places. And Sujay, what's been your experience, whether it's rejection, acceptance, or kind of cosmopolitan balance?
So after I went through that cultural shock, I was definitely like in a place where you could be like, throw me anywhere in any part of the world, and I was like, I can survive now, I can do it on my own now. I got that confidence, it gave me that strength to focus on the masters and you know, my education, and not focus on all the other things that would affect my performance here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after, you know, a few semesters in America, yeah, 2 trips back and forth to India now, you're definitely a multicultural person, right?
Yep.
How would you say that you're different now because of that?
I can survive, basically. I can stay here for a long time. I can easily go back to India, and I can you know, get assimilated to what I've been doing there. So yeah, I think I can take the best of both worlds and you know, basically survive.
Besides culture shock, there's a term called culture stress. If you're going someplace for a short term, a few days, a few weeks, even a couple months, usually it's 6 months or less, you're actually going to experience culture stress rather than culture shock. Culture shock's more 6 months to years in a new place. And culture stress is learning how to do the basic things of life all over again. Because I remember learning how to be adult in India, whether it's paying rent, driving a car, you know, doing my work, getting documents taken care of. And then when you come back to America, you have to relearn how to do that all over again in a new place, a new culture. And it happens both ways. Not just stressful learning the basics of life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you experience culture stress in the broader culture shock as well. And a lot of the culture stress can lead to homesickness, because you liked knowing how to grocery shop or pay your bills or go shopping or do your job or the transportation, you know, you're familiar. And so there's several things you can do to help with homesickness. Sujay, what are some of the tips that you would give to people to help when they're feeling depressed, when they're homesick, to help them better adjust and manage that while they're in America?
So first of all, cultural stress is, I think, something which is true and which we need to talk about. Like the way we do banking is different here. The way we study here is different. The way we use transportation is different here. The way we do groceries is different here. Completely different from how we do it in India. So yeah, that I think is true. But then these are things that are routines, right? Once you do it, you have to keep doing it the same way over and over, and that's how you get adjusted to it. And so yeah, you might not come to terms in the beginning, but you will get used to this. Yeah, so that's one way to deal with it.
Some other great tips are just making sure you have things in place to stay in touch back home with family, with friends. Technology makes that so easy now with WhatsApp and Skype and FaceTime. And 10, 15 years ago, we didn't have that. You had to do long distance calls, and you had to write letters. You guys even know what that is. But it's so easy to stay in touch now, so make that a priority. But also don't overstay in touch, where all you're doing is talking to people back home, and don't engage in the people here, because you also need to make friends in the new place, whether it's roommates, classmates, people that are local to wherever you are at. It's important to have new friendships, a new support group here, and it's really encouraging to experience new things, fun things, to travel, to see new sites. Sujay, what were some of the fun things that you've experienced here in America, or places you've traveled that have helped you to adjust and enjoy America more?
The basic thing about the US is you can travel anywhere in car. So just going out on in the car to anywhere within Texas was one of those things that we did on a regular basis here, just to rewind on a Sunday or a Saturday. So that is one thing we did.
So yeah, traveling, taking weekend trips, traveling on the holidays and breaks around America to visit friends or new sites is a great thing to make you enjoy America. Also, hobbies are an important thing. Maybe you had hobbies or things, that pastimes you did back at home that were refreshing or recharging to you. And you gotta either find out how to do that in a new place, or even find new hobbies. For me, I love playing sports. I played tons of sports in America, and it was hard. I had to work hard to either find ways to play sports in India. Some were available, some weren't. Or I had to come up with new hobbies. One of my new hobbies in India was actually gardening. I knew nothing about it before America, but then I got really into gardening and plants, and it was a fun hobby. That's something I learned and I was able to do, and was refreshing and helped me enjoy my new place. Sujay, what are maybe some things in America that you've done to enjoy, to do for time pass or hobbies, or that refresh you?
So I like to discover trails in the US, where you can go running or walking, and they're beautiful and picturesque, and you can forget about everything, and they're kind of great stress busters and stress relievers. So I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, so finding places to get out in nature.
Exactly.
And get a break and refresh, and there's lots of places, which is great. I think eating healthy is important. When you're busy studying, or if you don't know how to cook properly, not having a good diet can actually add to your stress, your homesickness, your depression, your culture shock. So make sure eating properly, eating a healthy diet, that'll help your emotions while you're here as well. Continue to be confident, and you can be confident knowing that it's gonna be hard, it's gonna suck when you tank, but you can also be confident that it's gonna get better. And when you think about and do these things and talk about it, get it in the open. There's even resources at the colleges to help students, the international student offices and organizations. You can go talk to people if you're feeling depressed and homesick, and they can give you advice or support. And having that support system here and back home in both places is really important to help you to bounce back when culture shock hits its hardest to you. And I think, just the most important thing is being open and honest, being okay, but then being open to talk about it. I think Sujay's and others who've opened up to me, I was able to process with them, just listening. I wasn't trying to fix all the problems, just talking helps, and then just letting them know, hey, this is normal. I've been through it, and it's hard, but it's gonna get better, and you're gonna get better. And it's cool, a year ago when Sujay was at rock bottom, he's a totally new, better person, and he didn't stay there. And we want to give you the confidence and encouragement that, just like all the other students, you're going to bounce back, things are going to be great, you're going to finish strong, and you're going to be in a great place for when you graduate and whatever new comes.
When I was going through that phase, I spoke to Rob, and Rob shared some of his stories, and I was able to relate to what he was going through. And when I told him my stories, he was able to relate to what I was going through. So yeah, speak up, open up to your friends or your roommates or your family, and you'll realize it's much more common than you think it is.
Hopefully this was a really helpful video. It's not usually a normally talked about topic, but so important, talk about our feelings and our emotions and our health, not just jobs and salaries.
Exactly. Stress can kill you guys.
Yeah, you need to be healthy, and in order to get those jobs and salaries that you guys are here studying for. And so yeah, take Sujay's advice. I really appreciate him opening up and sharing his experience, and maybe a good example to you. And yeah, thanks for joining us. Be sure to subscribe and connect for future videos and all of our other content. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time at Shine Coaching. See you later. Bye-bye.